Hey, what's good, everybody? What's good? What's the deal? This your boy Big R Sports in the building. Today is day one of my player profile, and as you can see in the new fire intro that was so nice, I had to run it twice. Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do one on AI today. You know what I'm saying? What it do, Shine? What up, Allen? What up, Lakers fan for life? What's good, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Today is on Allen Iverson. I'm doing one on AI. You know what I'm saying? He was one of my favorite players growing up. You know what I'm saying? I think he's highly underrated. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest guards to ever play in the NBA. Changed the game, changed the way you play guards with his athleticism. You know what I'm saying? With his speed, with his quickness. You know what I'm saying? Changed the game. What up, my nigga Bang? What it do, pimping? I'm gonna what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Is I'm gonna bring people up on the panel. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna run a documentary, and we all gonna talk through it. You know what I'm saying? Tell us what we remember about the times from high school. We go from high school to college to the pros, of course. Couple negative things in everybody's career, but we're gonna try to talk about everything. Um, Now I'm gonna drop the link in the chat early. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to do this one a little different. When I do my player profiles, it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So hold on. All right, boom. There it is. Anybody want to come up, holler at me? Come on up here. Watch this doc with me. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk through it, see if we could play it and talk at the same time. And you know what I'm saying? I think if we speak one at a time, I think we can let it play, you know what I'm saying, without having to stop it. Even though it is some points throughout the video, I am going to stop and discuss, you know what I'm saying? So it's about a 50-minute video. So it should take up a whole stream. You know what I'm saying? I think I got the nice setup. So let me pull the video back up. How y'all like that intro? You know what I'm saying? It was good. I might run it again before somebody come up here. Hey, what's good, Tiffany? How you doing? Good afternoon. This is my first player profile stream. I'm gonna do one, maybe two a week on my off days. You know what I'm saying? So I can try to get two streams in a day on my off days. You know what I'm saying? I might do something else tonight too. See what's cracking. You know. Shout out to everybody in the chat. What's good, Shine Brewer? What's good, Allen? What's good, Slick 340 in the building? What's the business? Hey, Slick, you know what I'm saying? Come on up here and holler at your boy, bro. I know you an AI fan. Salute. I'm gonna let everybody get in the chat, get in here a little longer before I start the video. And while I wait, I'm gonna drop that video one more time. I'm definitely stopping it during the doc where he crossed over Jordan and heard what he said about it. You know what I'm saying? I watched this same doc, you know what I'm saying, last night just to know where I could stop it at. Talk about good points, funny points. You know what I'm saying? What's good about his life? What it do, pimping? Hey, I'm waiting on y'all, man. I ain't starting the video until I get at least 2 people up here. So, you know what I'm saying? Either come up and share me up, you know what I'm saying? Or come up, you know what I'm saying? We can watch the videos, you know what I'm saying? Press play. Hey, about his life. I'm climbing, I'm growing, baby. You hear me? Every day. Every day. I'm here every day. You hear me? I got another one coming Monday. The one Monday is going to be on Tracy McGrady. Facts. Yeah, big facts, Tiffany. At Georgetown, man, he was dunking on cats. He was the first little guy I seen just straight dunking on cats for real. No problem. You know what I'm saying? And Georgetown was always known for big men forever. You know what I'm saying? So it was, yeah, his impact at Georgetown was fire. What's good, Lakers fan for life? You said start vid. I sent AD to the channel. You know what, Shine? Come on up first so I can put your ass in the backstage. So looking ass.
All that matters is you go out.
Started
like
up. You know what I'm saying?
It's the greatest story in sports.
Go, baby, hey. Knock out Mike Tyson style.
Let me know while it's playing. If y'all can still hear me okay.
Athlete.
You know what I'm saying?
He is a tough son of a gun, a very tough son of a gun.
A lot of play by Allen Iverson as he wrapped it around the rim and twirled it home.
You just saw it in his eyes that, you know, he had a never say die attitude.
Iverson to the floor, to the hoop. Yeah! Oh, yes! He is the man!
Allen had to grow up in a hurry. He was the man of the house at age 12.
You don't know this, man. When he speaks of his heart and soul. You may not like what you hear, but he's telling you the truth.
I feel you, Sean. Get that money, Sean. Work.
You can see the growth. You can see the development. You can see not a different person, but a guy who has moved from one level of his life.
Wait a minute. Let me ask y'all a question about Allen Iverson. How come when we rate our top 10s, our top 20s, bro, I ain't never heard nobody put Allen Iverson in their top 20. So I just want to stop real quick and ask everybody in the chat. Ain't AI a top 20 player, at least a top 15 or a top 15 player somewhere around that range? Where y'all got him at? You know what I'm saying? Because I think we just don't bring them up when we talk about our top 20s, our top 10s. But we all say we fuck with AI.
A lot of people felt like I couldn't reach this point. People talked about my size, my game.
I'll drop the link again, just in case it didn't work the buzz time.
That I'm playing with. So, you know, it makes the story that much better at the end.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. This one could be for the ages. The Los Angeles Lakers could become the first team in history to run the table in the playoffs. They have already dismantled Portland, Sacramento, and San Antonio, and now they come in a prohibitive favorite against Philadelphia. It's all over tonight. Billy cheesesteak, baby. Iverson, he might get a couple points, but that's it.
That's what's up, Chicago. What it do? Shot time in the building.
Let's get dirty. Let's get dirty.
You know, I remember that series, bro. Ain't nobody think Philly was gonna win that series at all. But that's what made AI so dope. You know what I'm saying? He got one off of him, though.
Defending champion LA Lakers and their 7'1", 330-pound superstar Shaquille O'Neal.
seemed absurd.
Who can stop the Giants?
The Lakers had gone undefeated during the playoffs, and in Game 1, they took an early 13-point lead on Philly and looked ready to knock them out.
Just calm down, guys. All this down.
They get into him and Larry Brown not liking each other. They never got along.
Iverson and the Sixers may have been down, but they weren't out. In fact, they had the Lakers right where they wanted them.
What an incredible shot by Iverson.
The Philly comeback, like Iverson, would be relentless.
We got to pressure their ass up the floor. Allen, on this shot, get your hands on the ball. These two guys will run their ass off. Right?
Throughout the playoffs, Iverson had willed his team to victory, and he wasn't ready to stop now.
Cross-court skip is picked off by Iverson. Down the
Man, AI played with the Grizzlies for like 2 weeks, right?
The tortoise and the hare.
Steal by Iverson. Back on Bryant. Easy layup.
I think they're going to say something about that too. They go through his whole career on her.
But casting a shadow over the hopes of the Sixers was O'Neal.
Shaq was just killing niggas.
Shaq powered the game into overtime.
Shaq was out there killing niggas. Hey, shout out to my nigga Luke, man. What's up, bro? You was crazy on that stream last night, bro. I was listening to your ass.
But once overtime started,
we'll talk about that later.
Seemed to have order restored. They had the momentum, the crowd, O'Neal, and the lead. But Philly had the answer.
One thing about Iverson, there is no quit in him. You just know he's got a couple of bullets left in his holster. You just know he's coming at him.
Here's Allen Iverson outside the arc. He tees up a three. It's good. He drilled it. A three by Allen Iverson. 1 minute to go in overtime. What a comeback here. The Lakers
straight mess
on the ropes. They come fighting out of the corner.
Here's Iverson.
The answer. Allen Iverson, the crossover, still back. That's one of the most iconic moments in NBA history right there. Boom.
7 straight points by Iverson.
And that was a great game, too. I remember the whole game. That was a great game. Great comeback. I thought they actually had a chance. But then I seen Shaq. I was like, nah, they ain't got no chance.
You cannot kill that guy.
All I'm going to say is Westeros. That's all I'm going to say.
As long as you leave everything out on the basketball court.
Yeah, he might have been like 7 times. Damn, is he a 7-time scoring champ? That's a lot of time.
You don't leave it all out there. Then, kind of feel like, you as a person kind of suspect.
Allen Iverson was raised in Hampton, Virginia. In 1975, the newborn Allen and his 15-year-old mother, Ann, moved into his grandmother's house, located ironically on Jordan Drive. And from the moment she saw him, Ann knew her son's destiny.
In the hospital room, they bring this long, 22-inch long child whose arms past his kneecaps. And so I said, oh my goodness, I got me a ball player.
But it would be football that captivated Allen at first.
Yeah, there's a lot of good football and basketball players come from Newport.
At all costs, he wanted to win every game. He wanted.
Is that considered the DMV?
That his team.
Tiffany.
I came home one day.
Y'all claim Allen Iverson. What up, JJ?
You going to basketball practice? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to basketball practice. I don't play basketball. I play football and baseball. And I told her I thought basketball was soft. And she said, well, your coach is on his way. He's coming to pick you up and you're going. I cried all the way out the door.
You can see early on that he had a lot of heart, a big bundle of heart. It's always been like that. This guy's 10 years old, but his skill level was so high that he was probably playing on the level of a 16, 17-year-old kid at 10. He was doing things that 10-year-old kids don't do.
I never forget this.
What up, JJ? Come on up, JJ. What y'all doing, man?
MJ. I said, well,
I leaving a nigga up here by
he met
himself
one
and
of the
shit.
players that we get me to play. He said, I could take MJ and the coaches and everybody else just he said, I could take Michael Jordan. I mean, he said it in a believable way that made you believe he could take Michael Jordan.
He was one of the best high school athletes of all time, too.
The hardships he faced at home.
Allen had to grow up in a hurry.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Lou. I thought it was only them two. I thought AI had like maybe 3 or 4.
Housing project, to watching his mom struggle to make ends meet, to having to take care of his younger sisters when his mom wasn't around. He was the man of the house at age 12.
Yeah, AI had to get it out the mud for real.
Was his mother.
You know, I remember one time
when I was listening to this story last night, he had a lot of similarities to LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Growing up,
we didn't have no lights on in the house because she spent the
what's good, JJ? What's the business, bro?
On the light bill on my
yeah, but AI was in them streets a little bit more than LeBron.
I agree with
How you doing?
I agree, definitely agree with it.
You know, I believed it.
They were sheltered. LeBron, I don't think AI was sheltered. I think he was living that Fabo lifestyle. You know.
Yeah.
A sensation.
Eyeball was like DMV. Technically, it's DC, Maryland, Virginia, but we claim DC, PG County, Montgomery County, in Maryland, and in certain areas in Virginia. So I just added the I claim Allen Iverson. Newport News. I think he said Newport News, Virginia. Right?
Somebody ought to map out his DNA. There's a gene in there.
He gave me the whole geography of the DMV.
Feet on the right side for Pringle. Pringle with good hustle by Iverson. Boy, he's fast.
JJ, how big of a fan was you of AI, bro?
I was a big fan. I love AI. I never wore shoes though. I didn't wear that. I wasn't a Reebok guy. I was always a Nike Jordan guy. So AI came in.
Allen's junior year would prove to be a revelation.
Salute, brother O. How you doing, sir? Good afternoon, brother O in the building.
Or the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So, I had to. Oh, if you hear that in the background, I'm homeschooling my daughter. She's watching the video.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I don't get on around this time because I'm usually working a little bit. She's watching the video, so I got a little time. Yeah, AI was the man though, but because look, he sported the cornrows, the baggy jeans with the jerseys. He was the one that come with the jerseys with the chains on top of the jerseys and the cornrows with the headband looking fresh to death. Yeah, that was the style. That's what we was all doing that. So it was cool to see somebody like us represent the NBA. Then they started changing the rules so they could rein them in. You know.
Yeah, and then they tried to placate it off. You know what I'm saying? How they was dressing. You know what I'm saying? So that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, Donald Sterling, man. They had that they still had that old what's that? I won't say white man because he was Jewish.
What's his name? Donald Stern.
I mean Stern, not Sterling. Stern. Donald Sterling. Yeah. Well, anyways, he was kind of old school cat, you know. Gotta, keep everybody in line, have everybody the look of the NBA. They was trying to clean it up. They had cleaned it up from the 80s, and Jordan was snitching on his teammates. There was a lot of that. They was using a lot of cocaine and doing a lot of partying. So
now, JJ, now this is the part where AI, you know what I'm saying, got in that trouble.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they took something away from him that he enjoyed, that he liked.
Instead of being down on myself, I had to somehow get out of there and try to start all over. All I wanted and asked for from God was a second chance.
Allen, his family, and his friends had maintained that he was innocent. And Virginia's governor agreed and overturned his conviction. After 4 months, Iverson returned home. But because of the negative publicity, colleges were reluctant to recruit him. Ultimately, a desperate Ann Iverson sought out the legendary tough love coach from Georgetown University.
Ann Iverson was the reason. She's the one who pricked my curiosity. There's no way if Ann Iverson hadn't, she cried, she did indicate the fact that, she was pleading for her son's life. When I sit down and talk with him, the very first thing that I realize is that he was smart. He seems to have dealt with what has happened behind him, and that was important for me. So I was impressed, and when I got finished, I said, hey, let's go for this.
Iverson would reward Thompson's fate by playing his heart out for him. But it seemed that while Allen...
I'm going to pause it right there. JJ, you still there? I'm going to pause it right there because I want to talk about his high school, you know what I'm saying, career.
I'm here.
Okay. He was really good, four star, you know what I'm saying, two-sport athlete, you know what I'm saying. He was really good at quarterback, you know what I'm saying, at basketball, won state titles for both, you know what I'm saying. But he got into that trouble in that bowling alley, you know what I'm saying, where they got into that fight, and they charged him with some bogus ass, souped up ass crime. Where I think he got 15 years with 10 of it suspended. You know what I'm saying? That was trash. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember that, any of that back then?
Yeah, I remember him being a phenom. I remember they talking about him. I remember seeing him in the paper. See, back in the day, we used to read the paper because you could get all the stats and all the every game. Always was really interested in who was scoring, what percentages they were shooting, and things of that nature. But AI was a super phenom for real. That's why it was such a big deal, because they was talking about he was more skilled than Michael Jordan. He could, and he was skilled. He was skilled. The dribbling and the handling and the coaching that he got from John Thompson really, really propelled him up into the NBA, bro.
I agree with you on
If
that.
he had had the right situation, if he had went to LA instead of Kobe, you know what I mean? Or if he had had he had a good coach, but he had the right coach and situation where he could have played with like another big to take some pressure off of him, because I remember he was only I thought he was 5'11", but they said 6'1", right?
Yeah, he probably was 6 foot even. Hold on. That's big facts, Tiffany. John Thompson, a legend, born and raised in D.C. I proudly claim him. That's big facts, Tiffany. He was a great coach. You know what I'm saying? He was a great leader of men. You know what I'm saying? And he really helped out a lot of young dudes, for real. Big facts. JJ, now he went to, you know what I'm saying, like what you just heard in the video, he went, you know what I'm saying, to AI mama, you know what I'm saying. His mama was like, yeah, it's life or death. Come, you know what I'm saying, come help my son. He ended up going to Georgetown, and he got that John Thompson influence. That's the part we're finna get into next, okay?
Gotcha.
Could avoid defenders. He couldn't.
How's the volume on the video, real quick, JJ?
I heard some maliciously mean things said about him. I've never heard him complain about it. He's got too much pride and intelligence for that, and I respect that in him.
But people always still stereotype me. Always felt like I was some type of bad guy because of, what happened to me. But I think Coach Thompson did a great job of keeping those people away from me.
After a sophomore season, in which he was named first-team All-American, Iverson tried to break from his past and take a giant leap into his future.
After carefully weighing my options from Coach Thompson and my family, I decided to enter the NBA draft. I definitely plan to further my education, but my family needs to be addressed right now. Most of all, I'd like to thank my mom for sticking with me through thick and thin. She's always did that for me, no matter what. And my immediate family requires me to leave Georgetown, but I will always be a part of the Georgetown family. Thank you.
The second pick goes to the Toronto Raptors. And that means that the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
He had to go.
When I won that lottery, I set up a ballistic because I knew Allen Iverson was our pick.
Then he got drafted #1 overall to Philly. Jay, what you think? What you think about college basketball players, athletes in general, leaving early to go get paid?
Oh, back in those days, though, it was if you left to go early, you had to be really really good because there was a push about players. Right around that time, there was a push about how a lot of players were getting drafted out of high school or early in college and weren't making it in the pros. So I remember him leaving early, and people saying, "Well, he should, get better in college and learn more and do more." And that was the thing, man. You remember growing up is go to college, stay in college, get your degree. Nowadays, that's a joke, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of different ways now. You know what I'm saying? To go to get that bread, because when you say you don't want to go to college now, you know what I'm saying? You can get money in the G League. They still pay you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's still more money than most people make in the market.
Right. So why not go ahead and do that? Because I mean, what's the purpose of going to college? Is to get a career, right?
I
To
mean,
make connections, get a
to each
career.
his own. To each his own. If you like that college experience, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no wrong with playing for a big college team like, you know what I'm saying, Georgetown. At Georgetown, I think there wasn't a Big East back then. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, there was a Big East.
Yeah, that was really good. But like I said,
Yeah.
he got drafted #1 overall to the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's where we go pick it back up at.
It starts it off. This was not just a lottery. This was the Allen Iverson lottery. Because in my eyes, in my estimation, Iverson was the man.
After having suffered his share of nightmares, Allen Iverson was about to live out the fantasy of every kid who ever picked up a basketball.
I had butterflies so bad. I remember just sitting there. I knew they were gonna call my name, but I didn't know. And once they did, I just felt good.
With the first pick, and Steve, mom and dad, family and friends back there. And what a tremendous moment that is for a kid, dreaming of this night, of being the first pick in the NBA.
I finally made it to, the point that I really wanted to get to. It was just a great feeling. I felt like my life was starting to amount to something.
Climax for all of the life struggles that he had been through.
I've been through a lot of obstacles in my life, and I'm just happy I overcame them. Now it's just time to get in the NBA, walk that straight path.
He was the #1 pick in the 1996 NBA draft. A 6-foot guard out of Georgetown.
Hey man, Philly need them uniforms back. Them uniforms used to hit.
Iverson would hit the court running.
Iverson all the way, yes! Raw lightning. Iverson, this is going to
What up, Keon?
You are helpless when AI has it going on. Iverson, yes!
The kid is coming big. Brings his heart into a frenzy. What a shot.
I knew that once I got an opportunity that I was going to showcase my God-given ability. I just felt like the sky was the limit.
With the odds
Rest
being
in peace,
already
Superstar.
overcome, he was
Look at Stephen A. Big head ass.
Iverson in his pocket. At least once a game, this guy will do something that makes you just fall out of your seat.
Hey, shout out to Brother O for the Cash App donation, bro. I appreciate you, Brother O. Salute, man. Real shit. I appreciate that, bro, for real. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Keon. Was good with it. Say if only AI would have gotten Larry Brown sooner in his career, he might have had more playoff success to going along with his illustrious career. That is 100%, you know what I'm saying, facts. But hey, we finna get into that because, you know what I'm saying, like you see these highlights in these first 1 or 2 years, he was clowning, but they was winning like 20, 25 games a year, you know what I'm saying? So glad you touched on that. They finna get into that right now.
Iverson. Iverson determined to make it happen.
Oh my goodness! I don't believe what I just saw.
Imagine some of Michael Jordan's best moves. Now, speed it up a little. Put that 45 on a 33 RPM. Boom. And that's Allen Iverson.
Iverson accelerates, putting the speed on.
He doesn't move like anything we know. It's quicker.
Allen's quickness.
You said that earlier, JJ.
By his most lethal move, the crossover.
Trying to guard this guy is like trying to hold water in the palm of your hand. Let's see what Anthony does. Forget about it. Iverson for two. Iverson crosses over and then Brown gets two. And they ooh and ah here.
Iverson didn't play like a rookie and didn't act like one either.
That's facts. And they hated y'all for it too, Keon. 757 was lit when he crossed that jack. And they was mad at y'all too.
They kind of shy away from the challenge, and I just took it on.
As a kid, Allen had bragged to his coach about taking MJ, and now he finally get his chance.
When I wanted the opportunity to play against the top guys,
I gotta run that back.
To go out. They kind of
Water in the palm of your hand. Let's
I
see
gotta
what
run
Anthony
that
does.
back.
Forget about it. Iverson.
He hit her with that big.
Iverson crosses over and then Brown gets two, and they ooh and ah here.
Iverson didn't play like a rookie and didn't act like one either.
Time to get down.
There was a fearlessness in his approach to the game.
A lot of guys, when you see guys that you kind of looked up to, they kind of shy away from the challenge, and I just took it on.
As a kid, Allen had bragged to his coach about taking MJ, and now he finally get his chance.
The opportunity to play against the top guys and to go after them.
Allen would finish 6th in the league in scoring. All year long.
Got his ass? Yeah, for sure, too. He got his ass on that one.
As the season drew to a close, he'd make history.
Yes, and there it is! Allen Iverson, 4 straight with 40 or more, breaking the Wilt Chamberlain standard that had stood for 37 years. Simply amazing.
What a week. What a week.
Iverson had taken his rookie season.
You know what? I'm gonna stop it right there. JJ, how iconic was that for Allen Iverson in his career?
It was very iconic. That rookie season, super iconic, especially since he crossed J.O. up, and everybody at that point was saying Jordan's the best all time.
Right.
At that point in his career, Jordan had been crowned the GOAT, and Iverson did that. Another thing you got to notice is that ISO he did on Jordan. That's not happening anymore. That's not happening in today's game. They're gonna pop out on him. They're gonna double team him. They're not gonna let him sit at the top of the key and dribble like that. Not a player like Iverson. You got to get him off the ball. They're gonna try to get him off the ball.
Somebody at him, definitely. So.
And Jordan ain't gonna be sticking him.
Hey,
they're gonna put something like Scotty on him.
I think he would have did Scotty ass too, bro. Hey, his crossover is by far the best. It's one of the top spot things that ain't never challenged. You know what I'm saying? I heard like Tim Hardaway, you know what I'm saying?
Tim Hardaway had the killer crossover. You might need to pull some footage on early Tim Hardaway, bro. His crossover was vicious because it was long.
I think he's top 3 or 4. I give him that for sure. But did you just see what he just did to Jordan?
Yeah, I seen that.
Bing. Hey, now come on.
Bing. Who's had a better crossover since Iverson though?
Jamal Crawford had a really nice crossover. Who else? I'm missing somebody. What's his name? Just a killer crossover like that, bro. It ain't been that many, man. Everybody super duper crossover like that guy.
No, he got them and one crossover.
Because Michael Jordan had a crossover, but he had it back in the time where ain't nobody have a crossover coming down the court full steam and crossover on your ass.
Right. And that was the thing. That was the thing. That was what was good about Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway had that same. If you put them back to back, I think Iverson's crossover is more compact. He could do it off of smaller dribbles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tim Hardaway's was more like a full body extended. But I mean, Iverson had a full body extended crossover too. Iverson was the truth, man.
Yeah, that isolation stand crossover where he was setting them up. You know what I'm saying? That's next level crossover shit for real. I appreciate.
Plus that first step, he had that first step too.
Yes, sir.
He was the fastest dude in the NBA also, and that's something nobody has seen since Jordan, because Jordan was super quick too. Jordan was a track athlete, but then
that's what I said in my opening monologue when I was like, he changed the game with the guard game. You know what I'm saying? Being with his speed, quickness, and athleticism.
One big scrap.
And the score off the point guard position.
It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Philadelphia 76ers to present our rookie, Allen Iverson, with the Schick NBA Rookie of the Year award. Yeah! Now the world knows what we in Philadelphia have known. That Allen Iverson is one of the most exciting, most dynamic, most fearless players in the NBA.
Despite his personal accomplishments during his rookie season, Allen was still having trouble with his image. Some thought he was a selfish player.
It was probably best summed up by Charles Barkley, who said, "It's me, myself, and Iverson." And that's the way he was perceived, and not necessarily wrongly so.
Even his most memorable moment as a rookie would ultimately put him in a bad light.
He challenged Michael Jordan to the effect, in the first game they played, he said, "I'm not afraid of Michael Jordan, I can play anybody." And in effect, it was interpreted as, how dare he challenge Michael Jordan? Who is Allen Iverson to say he could play him? And Michael was offended, and when Michael was offended, America was offended.
When the incident happened with Michael, that's when everything went downhill. People saying he can talk trash to Jordan, who he think he is. Everybody decided to bash me, and it never ended.
My impressions of Allen before I came here was a guy that I really didn't want to, be on the same team with. I didn't know him personally. I just heard so many bad things about him.
And to make matters worse, Allen had not made the Sixers a better team. Philly had won only 22 games. And so in the summer of 1997, they went searching for some direction.
I feel great in introducing to you the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Larry Brown. Yeah!
Larry Brown embodied basketball tradition. A clash with Allen seemed inevitable.
I don't think it's an overstatement to say that they're from two different worlds. The 60-year-old with a reputation as a fixer-upper coach, and the young hip-hop star who wants to do it his way. And it was like when worlds collide.
Brown
Why they call him a hip-hop star?
Play within the team. Iverson wanted to be the team.
When I started coaching, I thought he was a great athlete, just doesn't know how to play. And I didn't know if he'd ever know how to play.
But despite their differences, Brown was intrigued.
He competed on the court, and I knew he wanted to win. He might not always try to do it the right way, but you could tell without question that he was an amazing competitor.
Defying convention, Brown would switch the undersized Iverson to shooting guard.
You could hear and see and smell the cynics and the critics. Allen Iverson can't play two guard. Look at the size. He'll get murdered in the matchups. Larry Brown was saying, guess what? The other team is going to have a whole lot more trouble with us than we're going to have with them.
Brown was right.
Allen into action, shakes to the right, gets two.
Hey,
To the backcourt,
hold on, let me get y'all opinion real quick. Who crossover pull-up was better, Kobe's or Allen Iverson's? You hear me, JJ?
Oh,
You hear me? Because you see what he just
that's
did,
a
right?
good. That's a good one. Kobe had a crossover pull up though, and
He had a
he
dope
could finish it
crossover.
with the turnaround.
Yep.
Would cross you over, then get into the post position real quick, back you down, and then Kobe was cold with it because he had so many different moves after the fact because he had length and athleticism. So,
That's
but
a good
Iverson
one. He had
Iverson
a
has the
better
best
pull up.
crossover. Period.
Yeah,
Probably
I probably
Iverson.
have to give it to AI too. But Kobe had a crossover pull up too. We might have to Google that later. Keep that in mind. But I'm gonna rewind it a little bit because I want to see it again. And then we can go. That crossover pull up.
Allen Iverson can't play two guard. Look at the size. He'll get murdered in the matchups. Larry Brown was saying, guess what? The other team is going to have a whole lot more trouble with us than we're going to have with them.
Brown was right.
Action, shakes to the right, gets two. Iverson, the backcourt cut. What a play by Allen Iverson as he wrapped it around the rim and twirled it home.
Brown would get rid of every Sixer he had inherited, except Allen, who he would build the team around, as he surrounded them with selfless role players.
It was his basketball genius that really decided to give Allen enough range so he saw what he could do and what he would do.
Rebound volleyball by Ori, but it's taken off over there by Davis. Wraparound pass behind the back, underneath, great play. That's Allen Iverson at his best.
I could see it change. It changed for the better. I could see Allen inch by inch making progress.
6 to shoot. Mark Jackson with the ball in the backcourt. Iverson knocked it away. And Smith's flying court. Now what a hustling play by Iverson. And a tremendous effort. I mean, fantastic. And the Sixers here
With Iverson as their lone leading man,
Damn, which keys were we working on
began to
yesterday?
reflect his personality.
V, H, and M?
and they're on their feet. This
Or are we
house
still
is
at O and B and A?
And though Brown and Iverson didn't always see eye to eye, they began to make the Sixers better. In 1998, Philly won 31 games, and in 99, they became winners.
Stackhouse, and he stole the ball. And Key took it away. Sixers down 2. Iverson for the tie.
During the 99 season, Iverson would be chosen as a first-team All-NBA player and lead the league in scoring. But more importantly, he would lead Philly back to the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. And despite being an underdog in the first round against Orlando, Iverson was undaunted.
You ready? Mark, you can't believe that. Oh my God. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
He turned Philly
I think it was the
around.
most exciting time I've ever
They
been
ain't had
in.
nothing
Was
since
that
Julius.
Game 3 in Philadelphia. Allen came out on the court to the music and the passion of the fans that it was just so electrifying.
Orlando never had a chance.
Iverson splits the double. Yes! Oh, yes!
That was like right up his alley. You know, the stage was set, roll the balls out, and let's play.
Iverson, his 7th steal, trapped by Armstrong. Yes! Oh, beautifully done by Allen Iverson. That's an outstanding play. And there's Hardaway with a double. Snow and Allen chase him, and Iverson strips it away. And the ball's going to go to the Sixers. What a defensive play by Allen Iverson. Iverson now with 8 steals. It's a playoff record. Cruises and solos for 2. Allen Iverson, a playoff record, 9 steals.
A charged-up Iverson would lead the Sixers to an upset victory that had the feeling of a revival meeting.
I still remember this tingle to this day, that it was so much fun to watch him lead that team and to close them out.
And though his Sixers would lose to the Pacers in the next round, Allen's career continued to take off. In the 2000 season, he'd make the All-Star team for the first time.
That was like just like a dream come true. I always watched every All-Star game since I can remember. I always wanted to have the feeling that those
It took him a
guys
few years before he made his first All-Star game.
it's something that I'll, cherish for the rest of my life. I'll always remember.
But in many ways, Allen's image still overshadowed his accomplishments. From his clothes to his tattoos, to his cornrows, it all seemed like a do not disturb sign for the public.
What I remember is Allen Iverson looking us in the eye and saying, I dress the way I dress. People are trying to get me to dress like Michael Jordan, like guys who are 30 and 35 years old. Maybe someday down the road, I will act like that, I will dress like that, I will talk like that, but not now.
I don't want to be Michael Jordan. I don't want to be Magic. I don't want to be Bird or Isaiah. I don't want to be any of those guys. When my career is over, I'm going to look in the mirror and say I did it my way.
But his way wasn't the coach's way.
Yeah, man. What you think about that? Why do you think the NBA went so hard on him about how he dressed? You know what I'm saying?
Because they paying niggas millions of dollars to play basketball. You know that. That was, man, shut up and dribble, nigga.
Yeah.
Put these clothes on and beat it. I'm sorry, that's what it was.
Put on this suit,
man, you don't remember. I remember being going and becoming a young man and all it and how I was told to act and conduct myself in such in public things, which is right, But when you a basketball player and you done made it to the NBA, so that means you're a millionaire. You got to be your own boss and your own man and do stuff your own way and how you get there. That's another reason why we love AI, because he was authentic. He really wasn't trying to be MJ, because if he was trying to be MJ, he'd be wearing puffy ass suits, and mom paint jeans.
Big ass, mom jeans. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was another reason. AI was like if you didn't like Jordan, then AI was your guy at that moment. Because who was a better hooper? You had so during AI's time, we had Vince Carter. That's when Vince Carter came in. Ray Allen came in. Ray Allen, because I think Vince was 97, right? Ray Allen. Who else?
No, that was in the 2000s, right when 2000 started. You know what I'm saying? So you right, you had Vince, you had AI, you had Ray Allen, all in the East. Who else you have in the East? You had
Reggie Miller still was there.
Indiana was good, right? When 2000 started, man.
And then the New York Cats. You had some of the New York Cats started doing their thing, like I think that was around the time, but wasn't Stark still around in the early 2000s?
Nah, that was Larry Johnson.
Oh, Allen Houston, Sprewell. That was their era.
Sprewell, around that time.
Yeah, Allen Houston, Sprewell. There was some cold. Them early 2000s. Yeah, they was deep, real deep. You know who another underrated guard that we don't hardly hear about anymore?
Who
was Kevin Johnson.
From the Suns?
From the Suns.
Oh.
KJ. Nah. You wasn't a KJ fan?
I remember him a little bit, just from him being in the playoffs and playing in the finals and shit like that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, man, they don't do little guards like that hardly anymore. No. Who's the last great little guard? Iverson must be the greatest guard around 6 foot tall, I think. Oh, no, Isaiah. I can't forget about Isaiah Thomas. Never forget about Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
all right. My money's still on AI. I think he's pound for pound the best player ever. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
Yeah.
Pound for pound?
Yeah. Somebody with his height, his weight, you can't name nobody better than Allen Iverson.
No, but there was some real good players. It sounded like Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
That's his size. You're proving my point. None of them niggas can just sniff AI.
You don't think Mahmoud was good?
Hey, he was all right. He wasn't.
He was a sharpshooter.
Allen was angry with himself.
Right.
And Brown was frustrated that Iverson.
There were a lot of issues, and I didn't know if it ever could work.
He was getting.
In the 2000 playoffs,
he had to get some stuff worked out with his coach so they could start winning.
But this time, there were no moral victories. It seemed as if the relationship between Iverson and Brown had run its course. And though trade rumors began to swirl around him,
Brown was a college coach.
Yeah,
Brown was
he
more
was
of a
real
college
strict.
coach
Doing
type
what I
player.
want to do.
Strict college
Playing on the
coach.
team I want to play for.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
fundamentals.
contribute. You know, I'm not hurt by that. I mean, I'm not hurt by that at all.
Larry Brown and Allen Iverson had made the Sixers into a playoff team. But by the summer of 2000, it was evident that their partnership could no longer be as successful.
I've always had respect for him. You know, I didn't always like the things that he did, especially off the court and the way he approached our sport.
Larry Brown did not want Allen Iverson on the Philadelphia 76ers when he was returning in the preseason. He just didn't want him because Allen did not obey his rules, his team rules, the promptness, the back talk, the strength training, things that he made public, very public.
I'm tired of everybody talking about my relationship.
He stressed the shit out of Larry Brown.
I wonder what your relationship is with any employee that you might have who doesn't choose to come to work on time or doesn't choose to come to work at all.
Yeah, I was late for practice, but believe me, the times that I heard the stuff, I mean, nobody would put up with that. I mean, and I'm not even brave enough to miss that many practices.
Philly shopped Iverson around the league and thought they had him traded to Detroit.
The only thing that prevented him from going to the Detroit Pistons was Matt Geiger's refusal to waive his 15% trade kick in his contract. Had Matt Geiger elected to waive that trade kick, Allen Iverson would be a Detroit Piston today. It's just that simple. It was that close.
For Allen, the prospect of leaving Philly finally hit home, and hit hard.
Always wanted to be a Sixer. My dad was a Sixer fan. I always wanted to be the first pick. And I never wanted to leave Philadelphia. You know, I wanted to start my career as a Sixer and finish my career as a Sixer. And then for all that stuff to be going on, you know, it felt bad. It was a bad time for me. All summer long, I didn't know. I woke up scared every morning, not knowing that if I was at another team or not.
Allen went on about how he changed, how he.
Hey JJ, you think?
Yes, sir.
You think with as good as he was, he's still a what if story?
Yeah.
A little bit.
What if he had had like Phil Jackson as a coach? You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Or just not, or I guess not have the issues that he had, you know what I'm saying, with being more of a, you know what I'm saying, leader, especially leading by example. You know how they say about Shaq, you know what I'm saying, when they say Shaq should have been in the gym more, you know what I'm saying, working out.
Right. Well, but that was Shaq's choice. I think AI with AI, I think AI would have benefited from having a more understanding, more flexible coach who could be more of a father figure that he liked. I don't think he liked Larry Brown.
Thanks.
You know, and I'm not sure if he ever really played with the coach that he actually liked. You know what I mean? Kind of like LeBron. I think
John Thompson. I would say John Thompson, and he was probably searching for John Thompson.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, John Thompson, but that was college. So you get to the NBA, that's a whole different story.
Definitely.
And
hey, y'all hit that like button, man. Hit that like button if you're new to the station. Please like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Big R Sports. We are doing a player profile on Allen Iverson. My fault. Go ahead, JJ.
Oh yeah, I feel like if he had had better mentorship and coaching at the time, he would have been doing different, because he had to be who he was. Wasn't nobody telling him anything better, you know? But I mean, Coach Brown was a good coach. I think Coach Brown did the best he could with Iverson, given his mentality and the way that he coached. Because remember, Coach Brown was good for going into teams that weren't good and turning them into playoff teams. That was his whole thing. Yeah, he'd make teams playoff teams, and that's what he did with AI. You know, so I mean, we got to give him props to that. And he finally got his one championship, right? He got a championship with Detroit. That was Larry Brown, right?
Not who, Larry Brown?
Was that the coach of the team? Who was the coach of the team with Detroit?
Are you talking about when Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton was playing?
Yeah.
Shit, was he? I don't think so. They had somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, that was his whole thing was he could make a team better, but winning a championship that was a push on him. He could only get a team so good because once he got real players, once he got like superstars, I don't think he liked superstars and wanted to coach them because it's way different than college. I think he just preferred to coach. You do what I say when I say it. Follow these instructions. We gonna win.
Yeah,
Type of coach.
he wanted players that listen. You know what I'm saying?
Not just listen. He wanted players that ran it like the old school days. We used to come down. You'd run a set play. You know what I mean? He wasn't really about all the flash. He was about the fundamentals.
That's facts. But hey, but Larry Brown, he was a good coach.
He was a good coach.
He was a good coach.
Who now runs with Iverson. He's got Lou and he wants him. Yes! Clear out. Here is Iverson firing it up. And the basket goes. Allen Iverson.
Yeah, that was one thing Iverson would do is take you to the hoop.
Man,
take you
when you
straight to
talk
the
about
rack.
the drivers of the basketball, bro, we got to focus on the name of bro. I know we all think Brian is the GOAT of driving to the basketball. If we had like a top 5, he definitely got to be in it. What's up, Ashley?
Yeah.
The link in the chat, bro. If you want to come up, man. Talk about this documentary with us, AJ.
Your teammates. You got to rely on your coach too. You got to trust in the guy that's not on the court with you, but is on the sidelines with you, guiding you, orchestrating you, telling you to trust him and believe in him, and he'll take you there.
He made me concentrate on some of the things that I never really paid attention to become a better leader on and off the court. He fought with me. And I think that was important for me, you know. And now, then looking back on it, you know, I might have used to look at it like he just on me for no reason. You know, he was trying to help me all along.
You've won for us before. Just keep playing the game. Catch and shoot. I get it. You only need to play for 4 minutes.
He helped me grow as a coach. He once told me he wanted to have a relationship with me that the great athletes have with their coaches.
And at the All-Star game, Brown and Iverson would put their new relationship on display.
When you play, I would just hope that we go out on the court and try to kick their ass, but try to do it playing the right way.
Iverson would win the game's MVP. But more than his actions, it would be his words that would show how far he'd come.
Where's my coach? Where's my coach? Coach Brown. Is he around? This is a tribute to Coach Brown, my teammates, my family, my friends.
He goes up to accept the trophy and he asks for Larry Brown. Coach, where's my coach? It was like Rocky asking for Adrian.
Philly fans had always loved Allen Iverson for the way he played. But now, they were embracing him for who he was.
I think he melted the audience. All of a sudden, they started thinking, this isn't a bad guy.
The kid's come a long, long way. You see the trouble he was in last year and all the negatives about him. This year, it's all positive.
He's dedicated to winning. Whatever it takes, he'll do it. All our customers, that's all they talk about is Iverson. When they talk Sixers, it's AI and that's it.
He truly is a fan favorite because not only his play on the court, but his interaction with them off the court. I think that's part of his success, his persona.
Iverson's Sixers finished the 2001 season with the best record in the East. But there was still skepticism as to whether Allen had the character to lead his team to playoff glory. And as fate would have it, Philly's opening round opponent in the postseason would be the Indiana Pacers, the team that had eliminated them the past 2 years.
We felt like we could be in Indiana, you know,
Yeah.
and we could get to the final.
He went nuts, bro.
You know, because that team had our number for so many years.
The first game would be hauntingly familiar to Philly, playing on emotion.
I do remember that rivalry. That was a rivalry. Philly and Indy, for real. That was a good one.
We're winning the entire game. Winning the entire game against the Pacers.
Indiana had
Reggie Miller and
dogs.
the Pacers.
Yeah, they did.
3
They
seconds
both
left to
did.
play. It's 78-76. Inbound the ball. Reggie comes off a screen, catches the ball behind that three-point arc, shoots.
Miller gives the Pacers the lead. Reggie Miller knocks it down, and this place is absolutely stunned.
We lose by 1 point. It was awful.
You got a big lead like that, and then
There's a player profile art. Reggie Miller.
Your own crowd. It was ridiculous.
Reggie Miller?
In the
Yeah.
past.
It is. It'll be a short one because, you know, he was good, but
they'd use it as a chance to show how far
I might have to talk about that too if I do.
I remember Allen in that locker room at that time. We got this. That's okay. We gave him this game. I remember him getting the team fired up after he was so angry, which was a great sign because they knew they deserved to win that game. And by gosh, we were going to win this series.
Let's go, yo. We got to get back on track, man. Yeah, right. Forget what just happened. Let's just go from here on out. All right? 48 strong. 1, 2, 3.
Come on, baby. We at home, baby. Let's get down.
But it would be Reggie Miller who would try to cut out Philly's heart as he dropped in 33 first-half points.
Reggie Miller smoking.
The Sixers desperately needed Allen to respond, and he did.
Little sleight of hand.
Yes, sir. Killed Indiana.
With their season hanging in the balance, Iverson attacked the Pacers with abandon and scored 45 points en route to a crucial Game 2 victory.
And Indiana was a defensive team. They was known for defense.
Yeah, that's why I know he could shoot. He was shooting. He was hitting everything he shot that game.
Looking for royalty-free music? Discover Epidemic Sound. Get the safest music subscription for.
Did I say that right? How you say it? Memorable? Whatever, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to remember this game.
Indiana would never recover from Iverson's Game 2 scoring binge, and the Sixers had vanquished their old nemesis.
Philadelphia has made the step, and they have eliminated the Indiana Pacers.
Allen had passed the first test.
These guys always haunted me and made it tough for me to sleep. So now I can rest for probably a day.
That was a good rivalry. This was too. This the games you was talking about earlier. JJ against him and Vince Carter.
And the Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Vince was the clean-cut mainstream superstar that Iverson never would be. The dramatic setup was perfect, and from the start, the series would be a duel between the two stars.
Iverson for two, and he's got it. He's been the magic man.
And predictably, Iverson was cast as the villain.
Vince Carter says if the little guy can do it, hey, I can do it. Wow, that's all I can say. Carter again for three.
Yeah, Vince Carter was a highly underrated shooter.
This is unbelievable.
Especially when he was in Toronto.
Allen's dropping 54. Vince comes back and he's dropping 50. And it was one after another, one after another. It was like they were taking turns.
But as the much smaller Iverson matched Carter by sheer force of will, the storyline began to change.
Iverson for the lead.
And as the team split the first 4 games, Iverson was making his most persuasive case for acceptance on his own terms.
Allen Iverson has scored the Sixers' last 19 straight points.
As the media gets larger and larger throughout the playoffs, I think he got into a lot of people's living rooms that didn't really know who he was. And man, I'm taller than that guy. I'm bigger than that guy. How does he do it against these monsters?
52 points for Iverson.
They was balling. That was a back and forth. I remember that series too.
When you see the way people react to him, not only in Philly but all over, it's kind of nice. You don't look at the tattoos or the cornrows. You just look at what's inside of him. I think it's the greatest story in sports.
Before Game 5, the nation saw Iverson accept the league's MVP award.
Every time I come in this gym, in this arena, I hear my favorite song. You know, y'all voices. So it's time for y'all to play that song. Let's make this noise and get this party jumping.
During Game 5, Iverson showed the nation why he was the MVP, scoring 52 points in a Sixer win.
And the little guy, the MVP, trots to the sideline, asking for the fans, hurry up.
Alan, a lot of people affectionately refer to you as the little guy, but could you come up any bigger for your team than you did this evening?
I hope I can. I always play with my heart. You know, I play with my heart first, you know, because I feel like that's all I got.
All right, congratulations. Thanks for treating us to one of the all-time great playoff performers.
Thanks, dude.
But Vince Carter wasn't finished, and his 39 points led Toronto to a Game 6 win and set up a 7th and deciding game.
Yep, Game 7.
Allen was ready.
Shout out to T Killer, man.
In this type of game, there's a problem.
What's up, bro?
It's a war tonight.
T Killer, you can definitely come up. Holler at your boy. Come watch the
Toronto was ready too.
You got about 10 minutes left. There's not that much left, but we definitely gonna discuss afterwards. So you definitely come on up and rap with us.
And he is grimacing in pain.
Hurt and tired, Iverson would now be forced to adjust.
Allen, I must tell you again, when they double, you got to go into some kind of passing game. The ball has to move.
Brown couldn't have drawn it up any better, as Iverson foiled Toronto's plan by getting the ball to the open man.
That's a nice find by Allen Iverson, trusting his teammates.
Weaving his way through defenders, Allen would hand out a career-high 16 assists.
Great feed by Iverson. He's a passing machine.
And fittingly, the series would come down to a final shot.
Sixers by a point, 88-87. Here we go. Antonio Davis will screen. Curry will play in. Curry looking for Carter. Carter runs to the near side. He stops. He shoots. His shot is up. It's off the rim. And the Sixers advance to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I remember that moment too. Vince Carter didn't hit that clutch shot.
Outdueled Vince Carter on a national stage, and it wasn't hard to see how much had changed.
The thing that I'm proud of him is learning how to play. And he was a kid that was so competitive, wanted to play 1 against 5 every possession. And I just see his game developing. And he wants to win so badly. I'm learning a lot about him.
1, 2, 3. Way to go.
Allen had seemingly given all of himself to beat Toronto, and there were serious questions about whether he could summon the strength to lead Philly past Milwaukee in the conference finals.
Oh, that was Ray Allen right there. He had battles with Ray Allen, so we didn't even say Ray Allen earlier.
First 2 games, it was clear that Iverson
played against some greats, bro.
Yeah, bro, with the Bucks. I forgot all about that. But I wonder if Michael Redd was on that team.
He takes a beating.
Nobody else in this league would be playing and laying it on the line like he is. You know, the kid has an incredible heart, and he's trying to play through it, and it's just pretty difficult.
It's sore as hell. Yeah, but only I started cramping up real bad.
Finally, he was forced to sit out Game 3. He could only watch as his teammates battled without him.
And the game is tied as McKee trains the jumper on the right side. Well, I said they've got a lot of fight. They won't go away.
I have a challenge for all of you. Go to
That's
every
Aaron
computer in
McKee.
your house, your mom's, your dad's, your sister, your brother's computer, and
But
Why you
despite their
BSing?
valiant effort, the Bucks grabbed the series lead.
I just couldn't wait for the opportunity to get on the
Eric
court with
Snow.
those guys again and just try to take my game to another level. Just try to play just extra hard.
Inspired by their performance, Iverson and his teammates would take 2 of the next 3 games and force another Game 7.
Snow with 6 to shoot. Takes the outside.
Yeah, AI had a lot of Game 7s. Okay.
How about that with Eric Snow? Not Allen Iverson, Eric Snow.
Iverson was a game away from the finals and wasn't going to be denied.
Allen Iverson exploding here in Game 7.
With one more brilliant performance, the answer put to rest all questions about his leadership.
Iverson shoots a long three at the third quarter. Buzzer! Touchdown! He drew the three! The MVP for 3 more!
That Game 7 against Milwaukee was something that summed up Allen Iverson's not only 5-year playing career, but I think his life. What you saw was this man who believed in himself so much that you had to
You could tell they making this, you know what I'm saying? That's like the apex of his career.
He puts his hand to his ear.
You know what I'm saying? And what year was this? 2001?
Yeah.
When he won the MVP?
Yeah, he won the MVP. He went to the finals same year. Didn't he? Didn't he? Or was that? Hold on, we got to look it up. I might be wrong. I could be possibly wrong because I'm thinking, didn't Shaq get one?
No,
around that time?
Yeah, that's what
I'm not sure, man.
But I don't remember who the Lakers' first, you know what I'm saying, title was against. If it was Indiana, you know what I'm saying? I want to say Indiana.
Lakers' first title was against it wasn't against AI? That's 2000-2001, right?
Right. That'll be the day Lakers
that's the second. Was that the second title?
Hold
That was
on.
the second title.
The Lakers' first title was 99-2000.
Yeah, I think that was Indiana.
You know
Did it go
what I'm saying?
Indiana,
Because
Philadelphia?
Because Shaq won the MVP in 2000. AI won it in 2001.
Okay. Oh, so he did win it the same year then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still don't decide who the hell the Lakers beat in their first finals.
Man. There we go. Yeah, I think.
You know what I'm saying? Because he never made it back to the finals. You know what I'm saying?
And Allen Iverson stamps his name in the annals of greatness. The 76ers are the Eastern Conference champions, and they're going to
Now they going to the finals. So it was in the same year.
Y'all boys ain't no joke, man. I love y'all, man. Hey, yo.
He got his MVP and went to the finals in the same year.
Team right there, baby.
That was a perfect year for that too, Art.
2001.
Yeah, I mean, for him to get it that year, it wasn't like, you know how Jokic got his MVP and he ain't did nothing with it. You know what I mean? Or when Giannis was getting his MVPs and wasn't doing nothing with them. That was a good year. That was a good year for AI.
What's good, Spurs?
That make you know
man.
for
How
real,
you doing, bro? St. Louis, stand up, bro. You know what it is. It's good with it.
How you like LA?
Love LA, man. That's where the stars at. That's where the stars are born.
I heard that, but
they're born in Virginia too.
When I met you, he was like 17, man. Young boy, shy. Now he's 26 years old. NBA MVP. Big man on campus.
Big man on
Allen's journey had
campus.
taken him farther than he ever could have imagined. He had made it to the NBA Finals, and it was a celebration of everything he had accomplished.
Happy birthday to you.
Allen's ultimate wish of winning a championship would go unfulfilled. But even in defeat, he won the ultimate respect of everyone who watched him play. And he did it with the same heart and determination that had always driven him.
Just to see his desire to win was something that I really marveled at. And I've always appreciated his competitiveness, but I think that was really something special in my eye.
Yeah, man. He took off once their relationship got better.
You know, it's not like he's a renegade kid with talent that doesn't know how to be a team player. Now it's about a guy that everybody admires just because of his toughness.
Him and Kobe used to go at it, bro.
That's what it's all about.
After the season was over, I wanted to be able to look in the mirror and say, you did everything that everybody wanted you to do as far as being a leader. And you won the championship or you didn't. But you should be proud of yourself. And after the season was over, I was able to look in the mirror and feel good about everything that I did.
Yes, I am Spurs Young, and I'm glad you reminded me of that. I'm definitely gonna watch that Redeem Team doc
The
tonight
end of
for
the
sure.
2001 season closed the door on one part of Allen's journey, but another part is just beginning. And as far as he's come from his earlier struggles, Allen is still only glimpsing the potential that lies ahead.
All right, that's the doc, bro. Rico went through his whole career, and I picked a good doc. You know what I'm saying? Because like it was a sports century doc. You know what I'm saying? They was hella negative. You know what I'm saying? Hella word. But I picked this one because it ended on a good note. You know what I'm saying? And it pretty
I
much.
wish I had went over that game though. That game one.
Yeah, game one a little better. Me too.
Yeah, they should have went over to game one. That was a good game.
I was trying to find something like that, but that was, man, this was made, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to C-Dot, you know what I'm saying, for letting me use this video, real talk, you know what I'm saying? And it had a lot of highlights in it, you know what I'm saying? Just good enough highlights, you know what I'm saying? So where it wasn't just commentary from all kind of people.
Right, yeah, that is good when you got highlights. People can see him moving, how he used to move.
Mm-hmm.
We get some graphics of how he used to move, how that crossover. He had he would be his upper body would be parallel to the ground, and his hands would be above his head with the ball. You know what I mean? He'd be low to the ground, but the ball would be above his head. Then he'd bring the ball all the way back to the other hand and just leave you, and you just be stuck there because you wouldn't know what to do.
Hey, JJ, I got 3 questions, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
That I was going to ask after the doc. You know what I'm saying?
All right. That's what's up.
Hey, anybody want to come up here and get into this discussion? You know what I'm saying? If you got a second, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? But my first one is going to be to you, then to the chat. Where does AI rank all time? You know what I'm saying? Earlier, we don't really hear where people rank AI. I done heard people top 10s, 15s, and 20s. We ain't never, you know what I'm saying, talk about AI.
Yeah, he's in the top 25. Okay, see, when I look at him by position. So we don't call him a combo guard, right? So
I'm gonna call him a 2 because
I mean, he's kind of like Curry though. Because he can score and pass. He can score, but he's handling the ball all the time. You know what I mean? He's bringing the ball up a lot. You know, it's just coming down ISO scoring. So,
like when they went to the finals, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who was their point guard?
Eric Snow was Eric Snow.
Right. That's why I called him a 2. You know what I'm saying? When
Steph but who was playing?
He's a point guard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll call him a 2 then. So he's not better than Kobe.
I call him a 2.
He's not better than Kobe.
Nope.
He's not better than D Wade. He's not better than
Is he? Hold on. Is he though?
No, he's not better than D Wade. D Wade got 3 of them.
Hey man.
D Wade got 3 of them. Okay, at peak. How about peak?
Even at a peak, bro. Because without Shaq, how much will we rank Pink at peak D Wade versus at peak Allen Iverson?
Yeah, but Shaq was at the
player, bro.
Shaq wasn't LA Shaq. He wasn't Orlando Shaq. His was Miami.
But that was
headed downhill.
That was the last good year Shaq had, and that was good enough to get them through the season, be the best player on that team through the season, just like D Wade said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and he was able to get them in the playoffs and in the finals. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the finals. But Shaq got 21-10 that year, 20-10.
Right, but I say D Wade's better. I say D Wade's better because he was a way better defender than AI. AI was good at stealing, making steals, and playing in Larry Brown's system. He was good at that, but he could get muscled quite easily. So, I mean, D Wade's a better defender. D Wade was a better teammate. You know, he would show up at practice. He was media trained. I Iverson at his peak, I can see Iverson at his peak maybe had a higher peak than D Wade, but D Wade had a longer peak than Iverson. Unless you want to say Iverson's peak started his rookie year.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say he started his rookie year with the rookie of the year. He was from a lift a team standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I might have to get at the AI. You know what I'm saying? I think he carried more of weight in the NBA than D Wade did a little bit. If I had to somebody put a gun in my head and told me who was the better player, I'd probably say D Wade because of overall. But AI definitely, he's a top 5 2 guard. You know what I'm saying? And D Wade is too, in my opinion.
Top 5 2 guard.
Yeah,
I can give you that. I can give you top 5 2 guard. If you're gonna say top 5 2 guard, not top 5 point guard though.
See, I don't look at him as a point guard. That's why we talking
right.
about.
I look at him as a combo, like Curry.
I look at Curry just as a point guard.
Do you?
Yeah, he played.
Well, Curry scores. Curry shot more than A. Well, they shoot comparable.
When Isaiah Thomas played point guard and scored his points, and nobody was like, "Oh, he's a scorer, so he's a combo. He's a 2 guard." I get it. You know what I'm saying? You can do 2 different things when you're on the court, but shit, these niggas been scoring points and dropping dimes.
That's true.
Since the 80s. True. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true. I mean, really, if you want to be real honest, then okay, Isaiah had Joe Dumars at the 2 though.
Yeah.
So he had a solid 2.
Klay Thompson at the 2. You know what I'm saying? Just Allen Iverson, bro.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what his team needed.
But he did play with Melo. Now you're gonna say that was at the end of his career, you know?
Nah, but who was the point guard on that team?
One year wasn't Chauncey the point guard 1 year?
That's a good question because I don't know if Chauncey got that right after he left or they actually played a year together. If they played a year together, then Chauncey was definitely the point guard and AI was the 2.
Right. Another underrated player.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got his.
He was a good playmaker, especially out the post. I remember Joe Dumars, bro.
Oh, Joe Dumars, and a defender, and he was a defender, and he was a great executive too. How about that? Being a good shooting guard and a great executive.
Yeah, he was an executive for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he put that Pistons team together that won the championship.
Yep.
There's a team profile you can do because that's one of the that was a team that didn't really have a superstar. They had Chauncey Billups, they had Ben Wallace, but them dudes wasn't AI or Vince Carter or T-Mac or nothing like that. Them dudes was or Kobe. Them dudes was like the second tier under. You know?
Okay, Chauncey came after AI, so yeah, AI. So AI might have been a point guard on that team then. No, he wasn't. Andre Miller was.
Oh yeah, Andre Miller. Yeah. Andre Miller, he had been at Cleveland for a long time, right?
Yeah, but I think he was at Denver then at that time.
He was great in assists, though. He was leading the league in assists for a long time. Andre Miller, another underrated hooper.
All right, so you said AI top 25. To me, that might be a little too high. I might
top 30.
No, I mean too low. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I might have to put him in the top 20, bro, for real. AI was that deal, and I think we get him too much disrespect. All right, but my second question, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on, wait a minute. Before you do that, though, since you said that, before you do that, can I name 20 ballers better than AI?
You said top 30, so you're gonna have to name 30.
No, I'm talking about top 20. You said top 20.
I know.
I said top 25. I said I might get lower.
That'll take out the all damn day. We can't
name 30. All right, hold on. I ain't got nothing in because I don't want to go. I can do it. You want me to do it? 30 players better than AI?
No.
All right.
No, sir.
Because we could deep dive
about where you think he ranked. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's a it's 5 positions, 5 players, top 5, right? So if he's a top 5 2 guard, you know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you put him somewhere in your top 20, top 25? So
that's what I said, top 25.
You hear me? So
that's what I said, top 25. I'm still gonna brainstorm that top. Yeah, if he's a 2 guard,
Yeah, top 5
let me
2
see,
guard.
man. Is he better than? Okay, so is he? Do we put Vince at the 2 or the small forward?
Vince Carter is a 3. He plays a 3.
We put him at small. Okay, all right, we're gonna put him at the 3. All right, let's see.
I
T
don't
Mac.
know.
Well, we putting T Mac at the 3 or at the small forward?
T Mac played the 3. Come on, JJ, you get off the subject. you finna name 39 guards.
Well, I'm just trying to see name guards. You know, what I'm saying that could maybe we're better than AI. You know, but if them dudes are small forwards, then
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Hey, it's not too many, bro. The shooting guards, if you look out through history, you know what I'm saying. It's not a really deep position where they just got goats, good, great players up and down. You know what I'm saying. Where you can go to point guards and you can probably get to about 15 all-time point guards. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm saying he might not be in the top 25 because it's going to be stacked with centers, point guards, and small forwards, and then you got your shooting guard. And then power forwards too. Shooting guard might be the weakest position in the NBA as far as like top 50 players. The amount of top 50 players that's in that list.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. When thinking about it, I'm thinking top 30.
All right. My next question after the ranking, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that his career could have been better? And if so, in what way?
If he had had better coaching, better teammates around him at the very beginning, instead of having to have them few years be with a bunch of bums, and then them bringing in a coach that had to change everything about his game all at once. You know what I mean? And so there was a lot of the way that if he had Larry Brown starting out, then that would he would have had a different career, maybe even a better career.
Him getting along better with Larry Brown. Larry Brown being more understanding. If that would have like clicked off immediately, I think that he would have a lot more success. So that's real talk.
Yeah, at later in his career, or right when Larry Brown could have came in, I would have liked to see a coach like Phil Jackson work with him at that point. You know, somebody who's going to give him the ability to play, make, but also have an understanding of psychology behind his mindset, be able to reach him and make him understand. Because you could tell by the body language about how they interacted during games, the AI wasn't feeling Brown at all a lot of times. And that's just because he didn't learn to trust his teammates. And Phil Jackson had the ability to get players to trust in themselves. Team building, you know. So it would have been nice to a team builder and a mentor. If he had had a mentor, maybe like another aging superstar, or a superstar in his prime that already knew how to win and what it took in the NBA, he could have benefited from that.
Now, I'm gonna answer the question too. I think his career could have been better, especially if you look at it from an organizational standpoint. When he went to Philly, you know what I'm saying? You know, AI came up in an era where you stick with one team no matter what. It wasn't no player movement in the early 2000s at all.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So I think if Philly would have did a better job at putting a better team around him, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just letting him do everything by himself as far as scoring wise. You know what I'm saying? I think he could have had a better career. I think if he would have left and went somewhere else, he probably could have had a better career. But he's definitely a Hall of Famer. So,
well, you know, Philly hadn't been on the map until then.
Yeah,
since Barkley. Mm-hmm. Since Barkley, before, because Barkley didn't really do nothing with him anyway. So, since Julius Erving and Moses Malone. So that was a big gap. So people weren't really trying to go to Philly. It'd probably been really hard to get somebody to go down there and play with him. You know, especially with his usage rate right off the bat. He came in gunning. So,
well, if that's the case, they just let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? To just get better, more all around players. It seemed like everybody around them, you know what I'm saying, was strictly defense, 3 and D. They seemed like
the Cleveland
every position
Browns
was center was 3 and D.
you could swap out the Cleveland team for the Philly team. They look like he was playing like what Brian had to work with. You know.
I remember when they had Larry Hughes for a little while. You know what I'm saying? He looked decent with them.
Yeah.
Because he was a dynamic guard too. That could do more than one thing, more than a few things.
Right.
But man, I just think his career, was cool. This probably had it on a little more than I would expect. You know what I'm saying? But like I said earlier, JJ, pound for pound, I don't think you can find another basketball player better than AI.
Not Steph Curry.
Not even you think them the same size? You would rate that as the same size?
Well, they don't have to be the same size, but Steph Curry is a better basketball player than Allen Iverson.
That's what pound for pound means. You know what I'm saying?
But still, though, I still think. Well, I know Art, but I still think that Steph Curry is so good that his little extra height and weight that he got over Iverson is still would matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
If you force me to put Steph Curry into it, then yeah, it's definitely Steph. But I'm just saying, bro, he had for a little guy, you know what I'm saying. He had a dog, you know what I'm saying,
and then Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a little guy, and I don't think he's better than Isaiah.
Wasn't Isaiah like 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, but I mean that's only a couple inches, Art.
And matter of fact, Steph Curry like 6'3". Hold on, Steve, stop. That's my point. I think Steph Curry now is bigger than Allen Iverson.
All right, how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Okay.
Steph Curry is 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", some shit.
That's what they say. But he's the smallest dude. He's the smallest dude on the court. How about that?
That's facts.
You hardly ever see anybody smaller than him on the court. Let me think. No, I can't think. Who the smallest dude in the NBA right now? Isaiah Thomas gone, so he don't count. I'm talking about the other.
He out there somewhere, but there's a lot of little niggas on the court. You know what I'm saying? Quinn Cook. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of little guys still. It's the big guys. It's the big guys that's going away.
Yeah. Well, no, they just turning into 6'8". And you see that the new guy everybody's talking about. I've been noticing since last year though. The Adebayo or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Winnabayu or something.
From France.
Winnabayu or something. Yeah.
From France.
Mm-hmm.
What you think's gonna happen with him? You think he's gonna be able to make it?
We gonna see. It's something about 7'5" niggas who think they KD to the point where so you got to show me.
That's a lot of pounding. The NBA, see, the thing about the NBA that's different than Euro is the NBA, they play more games. So if I don't know if his body hold up being able to do all the moves. He looked real good. He's got phenomenal skills to be in 7'5". You know what I mean? It's like he almost like KD with a couple more inches on him, but his knee's gonna hold up. This is or is he gonna be constantly injured? Is his back gonna hold up? Like Yao Ming. Yao Ming was having issues.
We gonna see. Well, JJ, I'm gonna end it right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? My first player profile, bro. I appreciate you coming up.
Oh man, it's all right for you, Art. Anything for you, homie. You the homie, Art.
Sure. I got another one coming on Monday on McGrady. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the same setup, same format. People can come up, conversate while we watch it, stop it, make points. You know what I'm saying? Keep a conversation going. And
yep.
Appreciate everybody coming through. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the chat. T Killer, I really hope. LeBron James fan. Tiffany, Gorilla Smoke Media, Ballers Life, Bang. Everybody for coming through, fucking with your boy. I will see y'all soon, man. I'll probably stream tomorrow as well. You know what I'm saying? So good looking, y'all. Shout out.
Peace.